Hey everybody, XEI here for a bonus episode for the Portal series. I do plan on bringing back some Portal 1 content. I'm going to be looking into some mods that were recommended to me for Portal 1. I'm going to play around with that before moving on to Portal 2. But I also got recommended this link to a comic that is for, it says Portal 2 Lab Rat, but I guess this is a prequel story to what happens in Portal 1, but potentially necessary context for your experience that's going to happen in Portal 2. I did notice there's it's 27 pages long, so this is like a legitimate comic. Comics are generally 22 pages long by standard, 20 in modern DC comics, but for all intents and purposes, this was a full comic. I thought this was going to be a small little web comic, 10 pages or something like that, but no, it's a full comic. So I'm not sure I'm going to read the entire thing here. I'm just going to go through part of it and comment as I go. I'm going to read it to myself, but then comment as I go. And I have my headset on because I was also recommended this thing, which I think is pretty cool. I watched about 20 seconds, 30 seconds of it. Well, past this intro part, it's actually really well done. It's done by, I think the YouTuber's name is Deranged Band. I looked at some of his other content. I think it's this guy who's done it. I don't think this is just a re-upload.
It's a story the mind tells itself.
So there you go.
An artificial structure conjured into being by the calcium ion exchange of a million synaptic firings.
Now I'll pause this here because it fits this user's content. I can't just redo 14 minutes worth of content. I would recommend going to Deranged Band channel. I'll put this link in the description below so you can check it out. Part of me wants to maybe go through this instead and react to it as I go, like stop and react but not show all of it, so that it's actually more entertaining than me just reading the comic, which I know I'm just going to stumble about. But also, I'm a lover of comics. As you can see behind me, I've got this whole room is filled with comics, trades and comics and anyways. And so I want to experience the comic as well. So this is gonna be a video that kind of reviews both things, and I don't know how I'm gonna go about doing it just yet. But what I'm going to do is start with the comic, and we'll go from there. There we go. Okay, so right off the bat, really nice art. I did catch. Let's see, purchase Portal 2, download extras, think with portals. I clicked through some of the pages to see if I could catch the writer and the artist. And I caught that the artist was Michael A. von Oeming. I'm very familiar with the artist from the Power series written by Brian Michael Bendis. He's got a very 90s animated Bruce Timm, like Batman style to his art. But that being said, the other person I saw as a creator on this book, which turns out is actually the writer of the book, and the co-writer of the Portal 2 game, Jay Pinkerton. The art style is not what I'm familiar with from Oeming. This is completely different than the art style I'm familiar with. If I were to click ahead, this is closer to the art style I'm familiar with, but even this isn't like the style I recognize from like a decade ago, 15 years ago. Yeah, his art's definitely, now, I wouldn't say even evolved. This is just very diverse art style coming from Michael A. von Oeming, which I love this style right here. I love the line work here. I like the energy of it. It's frenetic. The art style and the writing go hand in hand to tell the story. Comics are a visual medium, and so the expression of line and the way that characters are drawn, like, and it's not to say that everything needs to look like this. It just doesn't. This art style doesn't fit every comic, but this one, we're right off the first page, you know, you're following this guy that he looks mad, looks crazy, looks maybe tired, again, the line is frenetic, and it tells something about the character, and there's a relationship between the art style and the story being told, which is, I don't think, is as common as you would think in comic book productions. So right away, I'm loving it. I do feel like I need to read this on my own. I got to absorb this, and the font is very small. So I'm just going to show a bit of it here. I'm going to read it, and I'm going to come back when I have some stuff to say. Jesus, in this first page alone, there's already so much going on, and I love that they're using the symbols, the kind of the patterns that exist in the game, like these dots, to indicate things, right? The check mark, the X's, the exits, the chamber, the sleeping chamber, I suppose, which I guess this person is in. I don't know if Bell is the name of this person. Here's the turret for It Is Nell. It's crazy. Summons to heaven or to hell. Yeah, it's great. I mean, I thought I was going to come back after a couple more pages, but I guess this is you playing Portal 1, and this dude is already watching you getting through the portal, waking up in that chamber and coming out. This guy's obviously crazy, so he's questioning even here in the second page, first caption here. What's this, real or just my lying mind again? So he thinks he's invented this whole world or this whole reality, because the reality again can be whatever. He says right here that it can lie. So what's truth? Can she truly be awake after all of this? No, just a figment. If she were real, the turrets would see her too. Target acquired. That's in the video. I like it. They use the voices from that. Well, I don't know if they use it from the game, but however that person did it, they made it sound like the voices of the robots in the game, which is great. The turrets in the game. So that's cool. The end is finally upon us. So maybe realizing there might be a way out, or how to help maybe is where this is going. Do not open, I guess, this locker. I don't know. He's got the love cube with him for the end times. Don't do it. I have to. Please try to understand. So this is like before he goes crazy, or maybe he works for this place, and before things go to hell. We put cameras in the cameras. Genius. He'll never suspect. Antipsychotic. The cube root of 2x is irrational if x is irrational. Okay, let me keep reading. Interesting comment here. I don't know if it's going to matter to the series, but and like anything cloned from a cancer cell, probably immortal. I had this idea that possibly they were cloning, and it was tied to cloning. That's what the little chamber pods were all about, and stuff like that. But in any case, nice design here again. Very artistic comic. The idea of like, being able to see like when I can almost see the underlying grammar of this place, like that it's all just a bunch of puzzles, and it's like a puzzle. I love that, puzzle pieces. But even that is like, yeah, but how did it get to become that way unless it created itself? But they all feel like labs. They were tests of some sort, but tests for what, right? So I hope this says something more. I'm sure it will. A reference to the mural, painting on the walls, like marking the walls with stuff. But this one he says to mark the occasion. So I didn't make it into some of these places in Portal 1. I didn't know I could, or I don't know. I goofed up on one or two of them, maybe one for sure. I don't forget what caused me to not to go in, but I didn't go into something to see the last wall of stuff that might have told a story. Where's the girl now? On her way into the final chamber. You mean with her? She doesn't have a chance. Oh, she has more of a chance than you think. Chell. Okay, that's her name. Boom. Did I catch it already in the game? Did that come up? Probably in the comments. But even then, I didn't really associate it. Again, beautiful art style. I love this this technique here. So I guess something's gone down. Are you okay? Loves the love cube. The room shook itself to pieces. Like an unbalanced. Is it maybe like when she takes out the main thing? I heard an explosion. What could it mean? Yeah. Only one thing it can mean. Oh, great style. Jesus. I did not know he did stuff like this. Oh man, I feel like looking up books that Omi might be working on. The ultimate system crash. Love Cube is aware that the queen is dead, so the big mainframe machine. But is it? Because then there's the end scene where you see a bunch of the other things activate. So there might be more. So he makes his way out. So he's already known how to get out, even though he had the markings inside that you could have stumbled upon. He was already aware of an exit. Oh, I like the idea of like the exit, and then they show an exit here because it's in the puzzles. So should I hear something now? My other thought on Love Cube here is Companion Cube. I know there's another name for it. I call it Love Cube. Anyways, is that it's not actually speaking. I think it's in his head. He's psychotic. So he's applied, and there's that comment in the game about how you apply, like you personify objects when I forget what it says, but the idea of it was that it's just this object. It's inanimate, but you can apply a personality to something that you end up caring for, even though it's it's not really alive, but like you'll value it to the point where you care about it, like you'd care for a person, you know. So that's neat. I incinerated mine. I'm a monster. Okay, so she's out. Oh, do we actually run? Oh, cool. Oh no, it's dragging her back inside. Oh no. Okay. Oh, freedom. It was for such a small amount of time. Okay, it's not that he knew the way out. It's that he might have known that there was a way out, but he couldn't get to the exit because of all the turrets, because the place was being defended. It was being he was not allowed out. The queen was not going to allow him out, and so that she destroyed the mainframe, allowed him to get out, but then he sees her getting taken away, and so he has to go back because it's her fault. It's his fault that she got taken back because he helped create this like main AI. So all right, so that's what's going on here. We're about to be continued. Oh, was this in 2 parts? Okay, so I mean the first caption right away. I'm not feeling so good. Those pills you took, I think the medicine is starting to work. Soon you won't need me anymore. Yeah, it's his mind. I'll always need you. I don't think you will. No. Okay. Oh. She's like, it's like a nice, sweet... Oh, it's like a bed. I thought he was just imagining this too, but no, okay. They've already put her in long-term relaxation. Okay. The Enrichment Center would like to announce a new employee initiative of forced voluntary participation. I love that. I had to read it twice. A forced voluntary participation. What a great combination of words. Ooh. Okay, I can't even move on. If any Aperture Science employee would like to opt out of this new voluntary testing program, please remember, science rhymes with compliance. Do you know what doesn't rhyme with compliance? Neurotoxin. So silly. I like that they brought this cat in a box idea. So cat in a box with poison, is it alive or dead? And this is like, it goes back to the philosophy of perception and the idea that we as observers, if we can't observe something, we don't know that some reality actually exists. We only make assumptions about that reality until that we can create some hypotheses, and then we test against it. And then from a science perspective, you test against those hypotheses and you try to determine whether or not the idea of something becomes the reality of something based on tests. Now, I like the answer to this, which is, of course, like in truth from a philosophical perspective, that is absolutely true. If you cannot perceive something, then you cannot know if it's true. This goes back to Berkeley and stuff like that. But from I love how it puts it here. Well, I actually performed the experiment dozens of times. The bad news is that that reality doesn't exist. The good news is that we have a cat graveyard. That is not good news, you homicidal maniac robot. But it's the idea that no, if you put a cat in a box with poison, there's a very good chance that cat will almost always die of the poison, because the odds of it, if it's only the cat and poison in a box, that degree of possibility is pretty damn high. Is there a chance that maybe the cat won't eat the poison? Maybe. But the cat will die from not eating or drinking if it's stuck in a box with only poison that is neither food or drink. I'm going too far ahead. Okay, so let's go. Okay, finds the file. He's basically looking for a bunch of information to get information on Chell, to learn more about her. And we're almost wrapping up here. Oh, we got a confirmation of the clones here, though. Bought it with your consent and used to create clones in the furtherance of science. Failure to survive the testing process shall be viewed as granting consent. Wow. Also, clones don't have souls. Just so you know. Like twins. Hey, I'm a twin. Maybe that explains something. It has to be her. So, interesting, just kind of from a continuity perspective for playing the game, is that you could play the game, die, but you don't really die, and maybe that's just the continuity of clone consciousness that's going on, and your experience as a player of the game. You can play the game many times and maybe be a new clone every time, so it keeps the integrity of the reality of the game pretty strongly founded. Find that pretty damn amusing. And so he gets shot in the leg, which is where he starts having a flashback of finding that file on Chell. So we come back here, and what do we have now? Okay, so now this maniac robot is like, oh, I don't care about killing anymore. I just care about science. Hey, I'm really curious about the bring your cat to work dead. Which goes back to the thought experiment. And then I love that this is like, it's not linear. They sort of connect all these things. But it flows pretty good. It's really good writing. All considering, you're talking about a potentially schizophrenic on antipsychotic medication, and the storyline is going back and forth between his memories, which, of course, he can't trust his memories. So before I even get to the end here, it's like the reality, he thinks that this is all make-believe, but maybe the history that led up to this point is make-believe. So all of, is my mouse on the screen? So all of this panel stuff, this kind of art style, might be the made-up past that he might be thinking in the present. That's probably not true. This is probably truth, and he's kind of remembering the truth. Yeah, but then it goes back to this thing in literature and English. I also got a background in English as well as philosophy and fine art. And so the idea that the perception is everything. So I talk about this in other LPs and stuff like that, the idea of the unreliable narrator. So if you're being told a story and the narrator has proven themselves to be unreliable from how they perceive reality or what they believe is right or wrong, good or evil, all that stuff, you can only know the story from that unreliability, and therefore you'll never really know the truth. So that's sort of what he represents. Like none of this could be real. It could all be in his head, both this reality, which I would say this is probably a reality. What it actually represents or what's going on, I don't know. This thing is probably real, that there's like, that they worked on something or someone worked on something. Maybe it wasn't. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe it goes into it in the game. A little, what's that say? Neurotoxin? Oh. Well, as long as it's for science. So he thinks he fixes it, is essentially what that comes down to. Okay, hold on. So he gets shot. Now, my question here is that, is he still shot in the leg, or was that made up? How long have I been out? Long enough. You're back. I never left you. Companion cube, love cube never leaves. Never leaves. Unless you throw it in an incinerator, because you don't know better. There's something I wanted to ask. How did you know about the girl? Know what? That she was the one. Something in her file. She had the highest IQ? No, somewhere higher. Then she was the fastest? The most athletic? No, nothing like that. Then what? A hunch. What the hell is that supposed to mean? You might still be able to save her. What? How? I could get to her cryo chamber. Okay, it looks like he's still shot. Well, I guess he was shot with a laser, so it would have cauterized. He would have... I don't even know how he bled, to be honest, if he shot with a laser. Don't ask questions like that. You can free her. You can free her, but you might save her. You can't free her, but you might save her. You can patch her cryo unit into the reserve grid. So then on top of it, they get frozen in time, essentially, until they get awakened and put into the rat maze, I suppose. You can reset the fuses and restart her life support if it's not too late already. But even if it works, there will be no wake-up date. She'll be in there indefinitely. So it's the long sleep, or the long sleep. And I don't know which is worse. Forgive me. Whoosh. It worked. Sleep well. Both alive and dead until someone opens the box. Interesting. Maybe it's time I slept too. I'm so tired now. You've earned a rest. You see, I told you I would always need you. Now, is he going for the long sleep? The long, long sleep. Well, what's this say then? Tenacity level. So her thing is that she never, because she's got a high tenacity. His hunch is that she has a high tenacity. Oh, test subject. Oh, this is like normal. I can barely read that, but I think it says test subject is thoroughly something stubborn. She never gives up ever. So that's the hunch. High willpower. Cool. Keeps going. So that leads us into, potentially kicking off Portal 2 soon. Maybe. Here, let's check out some of this video before we wrap this up.
If she were real, the turrets would see her too.
Target acquired.
I missed that voice. Target on fire.
Target lost.
Target lost. I remember that. That was so well done. All right, let's get through some more of this so I don't record all of it.
I have to. Please.
I do like how they did that cut right there.
Put cameras
Very well
in
done.
the cameras.
It's well done.
Genius. But
I'm having a hard time like
turn this
believing
on.
that it's the
It's
same
a
artist.
16th of a
That's
picosecond for
Oming
it.
doing that other
Last
art style with
time
the
was
art
a
style I'm
10th
more
of a
familiar with, which
picosecond.
is this simple
See, we're
line.
making progress. I'm telling you, this is our
This is very
generation's
much the
moonshot.
Powers art style, and he's done other work, and it almost all has this very thin line.
I'd rather have gone to the moon.
Where's the girl?
But look at this. This is crazy good.
Check out her handiwork.
She must have gotten out.
I
Probably
mean,
on the surface,
for
soaking
my
up some
kind of
sun.
sensibilities, I love
Sure you're right. What is
expressionist
this
line work.
sun of which you speak? I see you.
All is lost.
Schizophrenia is a culturally bound
Yeah.
phenomenon. Its
That's
pattern
an
of
interesting
expression
idea
is
there.
filtered through the cultural substrate in which its symptoms develop. In technological societies, this
Makes me want to read
manifests as
philosophy of
delusions
schizophrenia,
of
to be honest.
surveillance
Now.
and
Like,
a
that's
belief
an
that
interesting.
advanced
I've read some of it.
technology is
The
deployed
idea of
against
identity
you,
is
usually with
fragmented
some vague,
identity, and like
unseen other
the
acts
idea
get
of like
you.
what is the true identity and stuff like that is something that always intrigued me too.
Damn specific.
But
If you continue to
for some
selfishly
papers.
evade me, it's not going to reflect well
interesting.
in your file. Also,
redacted.
clones
Oh,
don't
last name
have souls,
redacted.
just
Oh,
so you know.
wonder if that's
like
important for
twins.
later on.
It worked. Sleep well. Both alive and dead. Till someone opens the box. Maybe it's time I slept too. I'm so tired now.
Yeah, I don't think he makes it. I mean, I guess you can interpret that
You see,
this is a
I told you.
cryopod too, so
I would
potentially
always need you.
he's like weak and stuff, but he could be preserved in there for I don't know, Portal 2 maybe. You encounter, I forget, something you might have told me in the comments already and I forgot. Yeah. Companion cube at his side. But yeah, that you could eventually unlock this dude and then he does stuff. I don't know. And then we got this thing right here. Yeah, tenacity level, which I'm not sure how you measure that outside of they just don't give up. They keep on trying, even if they fail, they fail, they fail. But I mean, how do you measure that unless they're clones? And no matter how many times you clone this person, she'll keep going, and she'll, even if she fails and dies, she'll just reclone, rematerialize, and then go again. So yeah, an intriguing concept. Way more lore and story to this game than I anticipated. Absolutely. So I am curious to play Portal 2. But like I said at the beginning of this episode, I'm going to try to look for those Portal 1 mods. Maybe even as I say that, I'm like, I can always go back and play the Portal 1 mods, just in case there's stuff in them that might, I don't know, maybe devalue or minimize the experience with Portal 2. Then maybe I won't do them. I don't know. Either way, there's going to be more Portal content coming to this channel. I will catch you there. Don't forget to explore, engage, and inspire, buddy. Peace.